Okay, what is up everyone? It is Lovenji Gaming and this is now the second time that I am doing this introduction. Huzzah, hooray, and all of that shit. We are back with another revival tournament shoutcast. This is match, I've lost count. We're in the quarterfinals. Jimmyhunter got here by beating our Lord and Savior, and he is currently playing as the Yellow Tribe in the red base. Let that confuse you. His opponent, one of the best that we have in 1.5, although not a veteran revival player. Playing as the Red Tribe from the blue base, representing Clan Overpowered. It is Babbo. So we've got Babbo Overpowered versus Clan Asgard's Jimmyhunter on the map Serpentine Madness. Now, there is an island over here with wilds. Typically, you want to see one player get a boat hut up. Excuse me, I'm forgetting how to breathe. You want to see a player get a boat hut up particularly fast, get a boat out there, and immediately go and claim that second island for yourself. There were a lot more wilds on this island when the show match happened, but that number has been nerfed a little bit, but it's still a reasonable amount. Now, Babbo is pushing towers forward, which I like to see, having a multi-tiered defense. You know, Babbo is one of our best. He's a solid shaman rank. I don't think anyone disputes his right to be a shaman rank. So we've got towers spread out, claiming high ground for themselves and fortifying numerous positions, and also placing huts down to increase his build radius. He's keeping his trees harvested, although we just watched him kill a tree there because he's building on it. And he's even got fire warriors pumping out already as well. Obscura, she doesn't mean OBS as in you, she means OBS as in OBS, the streamer software. Sorry, a little bit of shenanigans going on in my chat at the same time. Now, Jimmyhunter has secured himself a boat, so it looks like he's going to be getting all the wilds on the additional island. Yeah, there he is. There goes his shaman. Now, this is going to be a big population advantage. If I knew how to use the tool. So Babbo at 44 population, Jimmy at 36. It looks like we're going to be seeing some converting going down here, so we would expect Jimmyhunter to pull ahead in the population graph very shortly. And in fact, you can see that happening right now. They are dead even, and Jimmy's going to stop converting. Now he's going to get in his boat. He's going to sail over, and I would imagine continuing to convert. Meanwhile, Babbo's shaman's just going off for a walk looking for little wildmen. He's built a boat hut of his own now. He's actually taken a moment to look at the map. He's seen that Jimmyhunter's building a sort of forward position here. It's a lot of extra land to get a base up, so you do want to contest it. Jimmyhunter's population 50. Babbo's at 46. Oh no, Jimmy's managed to lose a brave somewhere. He's lost 2 braves. He's losing Pop. And you know what? I think I've seen what Poppy's losing. Babbo's pushed fire warriors onto the high ground. He's actually denying Jimmy access to some of his towers. That's going to force Jimmy's shaman to have to come back and respond. This high ground, a good idea, but a little flawed in its execution if you give up that high ground to your enemy's fire warriors. Lots of huts down on the ground for Babbo. Not the wood to build them, though. One fire warrior is in a tower there, so he's going to deter Babbo and force him to go another way. Jimmyhunter throws out a lightning, doesn't quite find the kill. Nice blast from Jimmyhunter, send Babbo walking away, seeing stars. However, his shaman's going to have to recover. We can see that Babbo does have an earthquake available to him. Jimmyhunter's not going to have that because Jimmy's used a lot more converts, and we've just seen him throw out a light. He might need a second lightning here. He may not have it. Blasting. Oh, and Babbo steals the boat. He's going to go to the back of Jimmy's base with the earthquake, I think. Yeah, here it comes. No Fire Warrior in this guard tower, meaning Baba's going to dive right in on the Fire Warrior, training her, and throw down an Earthquake, I suspect. There it is. There's the Earthquake. Lakai. Fire Warriors firing onto Babo's Shaman. One of them goes down, but Babo's still alive. He needs to blast that other Fire Warrior before he gets into the boat. And there he is. He's into the boat. Is he going to blast? He's probably going to try to blast himself, to boost himself, and get the little message saying, I cannot cast from this boat. No, it appears that Babo knows that he can't do that. He's actually just moving on over to Jimmy's little island. He believes his troops have done enough to fortify a pretty strong position on the mainland that his shaman can go and do shenanigans on the island. And he's probably right. He's got some worshipping going on in the middle, which I like. Stoneheads are there to be used, so make the most of them. Warriors already being spread out amongst Jimmy's base. Looks like Babo is not letting the fact that this is a revival deter him. He's playing very well and using everything to the fullest extent of his abilities. Very aggressive play out of Babo here. It's really nice to see. Jimmyhunter doing well, though. He's clearing up those warriors. He's got warriors of his own. He's actually in a reasonably strong position on the mainland, just clearing up what remains of the troops. He needs to get his Fire Warrior hut repaired and get himself back into the action as soon as he possibly can. We're seeing even more blasts coming out of Jimmy as Babo tries to build towers on the high ground, but Jimmy's warriors are in position to deny it. Babo's shaman taking battles, taking a fistfight, punch by punch. Well, he's brought some Braves over as well. Gonna get them in on the action. Sorry, I got texted and it distracted me. I'm so unprofessional. I'm awful at this job. We've got Preachers pushing into Jimmy's base. Preacher has managed to grab himself a couple of warriors and a Fire Warrior. Babo's population, I think, is just a little bit too high. It's going to be difficult for Jimmy to keep up here. The population's 58 to 31, but Jimmy is doing his very best. He's fighting under constant troop aggression. It's good to see that spirit out of Clan Asgard. Never say die, never give up. Manually fighting the priests with his shaman. Built a backup temple in the back of his base, which I like. You know, he needs priests on this mainland to deal with the aggression. But Babo has taken away Jimmy's expansion. He's got Braves over there causing all manner of havoc. He's got Preachers in on Jimmy's Fire Warrior training hut. There's a magical shield on the Preacher. Jimmy doesn't have the mana to clear it, I don't think. But you know what Jimmy can do? He can engage that Preacher in melee if he so chooses. Babo throwing out some very good blasts. A nice blast from Jimmy. Also onto Babo there. Another follow-up blast. Nice blast trick from Jimmy there. Very well played. But I just don't think that Jimmy has the mana anymore. There's one more blast onto Babo's Shaman, but Babo's still alive. He threw out the convert, expecting the blast to come on down. Jimmy is playing his heart out, and it's lovely to see. He's giving us a show. There's a blast from Jimmy, and what a blast it was. Babo into the water. Jimmy's now got warriors. He needs to get some more Preachers out there. Stop Babo's troop aggression before it's too late. Populations 64 to 20. Oh, that Brave! That Brave and Fire Warrior combination was so good from Babo. So frustrating if you're Jimmyhunter. That was so close to interrupting that Preacher. And getting some Fire Warrior action. Jimmyhunter says, GG, well played, and surrenders. Nice aggression out of Babo to take game number 1. What is up, everyone? It is Lovenji Gaming, and we are back with another Populous at the Beginning Revival Mod Shoutcast. We are here on Head On, which is a gigantic map that is absolutely chaotic, so I'm expecting us to get lost quite a few times and miss what's going on. This map usually gets banned, so we normally don't see it. But here we are, up 1 game after a dominant first round performance. Representing Clan Overpowered, it is Babo, playing as the Red Tribe, Red Base. His opponent, Chumara Tribe in the green base. Down one game, but ready to take this victory, I'm sure of it. Representing Clan Asgard, it is Jimmyhunter1000. So both players going to be converting like absolute mad, and this is a map where it could, in theory, be very hard to kill your opponent. There are a lot of wild men and a lot of space to build. So it's a bit almost Dead Sea-esque in that it's going to change how the game is played. You're going to find it very hard to deal a crippling blow with the Shaman, but actually you're going to need to utilize your warriors and make sure that you have warriors everywhere. The bases are going to get so big that it's going to be very difficult to spread your Shaman everywhere. So those troops and where you have them positioned is going to be absolutely crucial in achieving a victory. So it'll be interesting to see if Babbo recognizes that and if a warrior training hut comes up quickly. But the options were red or green base, and as you can see, that gives multiple paths of attack. You've got one path here to the middle, which is also backed up by this path here to the middle, and the other tribe has the same issue, a north and south path to the middle. So there are multiple angles of attack that could be utilized on your base, and the two bases that are picked here are the closest to each other, so even though there's vehicles turned on, you know, this is a pretty short distance to travel as well because of vehicles. So there are multiple paths of attack, which means those troops are going to be important. And Jimmyhunter's recognizing that. He's actually got a preacher up and out on the field already. He's got multiple preachers up and out on the field already. He's doing what he can. He's being aggressive. Babbo recognizes this as training preachers of his own. I don't see a warrior training hut out of Babbo yet. He's got fire warriors on the way as well as preachers. Combination of preachers and fire warriors should be more than enough to achieve some form of victory, I think. But here come those preachers, going to be trying to take advantage of the fact that Babbo is spread reasonably thinly. You know, Babbo's on one side and able to deal with that, but on the other side, here comes a holy boy. Oh, but Babbo sees it. He checked quick enough. He's using that minimap to the best of his ability. There is a fire warrior in position. And in fact, this hut type here, preachers can't reach fire warriors that are inside of it because they're in the center of the plan and not at the back of the plan. So actually, a fire warriors in this hut will be impossible for preachers to clear. But that's not enough. There are even more preachers in Babbo's base. One fire warrior getting converted. Fire warrior training hut has been lost, but Babbo was able to micro away one of the fire warriors who is going to deal with this preacher. Meanwhile, we need to look at what Babbo is up to. There should be counterattacks from our red shaman player. No, in fact, Babbo's just cleaning up. Even more preachers. Oh, this preacher survived. You got to remember, preachers can sometimes survive a direct blast. It depends on the health RNG that they roll. They have slightly more health than a brave. Populations, though, huge population advantage to Babbo, who seems to have gotten out of the gate a little bit faster, built a little bit bigger. Or maybe there's an imbalanced convert, and this map was being banned for a reason. Who knows? We will find out at some point we'll find out in the Grand Finals when they're forced to play it, because the Grand Finals is all maps played. Well, a best of 7, which could result in all maps played, you don't really know. Tornado was cast and I clicked on it, and instead of taking me to the tornado, it just put me in the middle of the ocean. But here we have a death for Jimmyhunter and Babbo tornadoing Jimmyhunter's temple. Now, Jimmy has built quite a nice little base for himself. He's got fire warriors in position to be able to deal with Babbo's shaman as well. Although Babbo did bring some braves, or rather stole them as part of a convert, and is trying to deal with the preachers who have magical shield on them. The fire warriors weren't quite able to deal with the shaman. Oh, the Fire Warrior messed up Jimmy's own shot, but the follow-up blast is good. Golf swinging Babbo straight into the water. But if we take a little look at our red Shaman base, you can see that it's not quite as well built as Jimmy's is, but it is definitely better fortified. You've got every hill has towers on it with different troops in it, ready to place the defense. The middle hill has come under Babbo's control as well, in true face-off fashion. And here come the preachers ready to attack Jimmyhunter back in response. You started this holy war, they say, and now Babbo aims to finish it. I hope that Jimmyhunter has seen these priests. Fire warriors are being pushed forward aggressively. Babbo's out for blood. No mercy from our red player here, who just wants his victory. He just wants to move on to the semi-finals. Pushing in fire warriors from all directions. Preachers too. I think we're going to be seeing something very similar to what we saw out of the first game, where there's just troops everywhere, and Jimmy will put on a valiant defense, but just eventually, through time, bleed out more than he can kill. Jimmyhunter's over on this side, dealing with a holy boy. He's going to save the blast, get into melee. And yeah, we're just watching as troops pour in from all directions. Look at this ingress of creatures over here. Jimmy hasn't replaced his temple. He still hasn't found additional preachers. He's put the plan down, but his braves are being painfully slow about it. With preachers at his fire warrior training hut. Fire warriors on the high ground of his hills, denying his defense. I think this will be all over for Jimmyhunter sooner rather than later, although if he can get some fire warriors in some of these huts, he might be able to surprise Babbo and deal with it. Jimmyhunter's shaman is in position to deal with that ingress of creatures. So it's a holy warrior suicide, and in fact those fire warriors did exactly what we wanted them to. They managed to kill Babbo's shaman and perhaps delay the inevitable. Babbo's shaman did throw down I think Jimmy's shaman also died. I think he got pushed in the water. Babbo did manage to throw down a magical shield, but not before dying, which means these fire warriors will eventually be cleaned up. Jimmy has preachers of his own once again, ready to interrupt, ready to get into combat. Jimmy's shaman is back. It was a ward of death, which means he respawns very quickly. He can get to the back of this base and try to re-establish control of his fire warrior training hut as quickly as possible. Warriors being trained for Jimmy. Needs more fire warriors. Perhaps. Double troop training huts coming out of Jimmyhunter, though. Very smart idea. You're going to be needing troops to contest with Babbo, but look at this red base. This is starting to look intimidating. Might not even need access to any of the vehicles, although the vehicle would certainly be one heck of a closer. I've lost Jimmyhunter's shaman. There she is. Jamara's shaman's like, well, everything's on fire, but this is fine. Warriors being utilized to clear those fire warriors out of the high ground. I do like that, but you're probably going to need to send more than two stacked on the same tile. I think they might have taken enough shots that they might not actually be able to win the melee. Never mind, Lovenji doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know anything about Populous at all. Here comes Babbo. He's getting in once again just before Jimmy can secure the high ground, but Jimmy throws out the lightning, and Babbo's retaliatory blast isn't quite good enough to secure the kill. This is a little bit of a back and forth here. I definitely think our red player is favoured 78 population to Jimmyhunter's 49, but you've got to admire the tenacity, you've got to admire the strength coming out of our Clan Asgard player. He knocked out our glorious leader, Inca Warrior. And he's not going down in this game without a fight. It's going to be a difficult one for him from here on out. He needs to find some good spell damage. And if he's forced to charge lights on as low a population as he has, I don't know if he'll be able to find that damage. And you can sort of see from Babbo's spell panel, he's holding on to 3 tornadoes and 2 earthquakes. And who knows what else he's holding from the revival spell list that isn't included on that sidebar. You know, Jimmyhunter only has to fail to kill Babbo one time. And in doing so, the devastation will be enough to secure the game, perhaps. Do like this move out of Jimmyhunter. We've got him taking out Babbo's forward position on this high ground. Babbo is moving towards the high ground to contest it, but Jimmyhunter has the high ground here. It's a shaman advantage for him. He's pushing towards it. Is he going to save the light and just use a blast? No, he throws out the light. A little bit of a interesting shot there from Jimmy. I think he expected Babbo to commit. Oh, it's the water that looks like water but isn't water, but nice blasting, utilizing that high ground range. Does Jimmyhunter manages to get a good kill onto Babbo's shaman. Tornado comes out of Jimmy. Lightning out of Jimmy as well. Defense being stripped back. Warrior training hut not even going down. That's the beauty of Populous RNG. The gods of auto-casting giveth, and they taketh away. Another tornado in the chamber for Jimmyhunter as warriors start to push in. Jimmy's actually striking back. Very impressive move here out of Clan Asgard. Just taking a look to see if Babbo's troops were pushing in from another direction. They don't appear to be. Jimmyhunter's shaman's a little bit stuck. I don't think she can progress any further with those towers on the high ground. There is one brave warrior trying to make his way there, but he might have been too weak from all the fighting he's doing. Although I've said that once and been wrong, so perhaps I'm just going to be wrong again. Who the heavens knows? Oh, all those braves coming in are certainly going to help the fire warrior out. There goes the warrior. Fire warrior can just get straight back into the tower, but look at this. Jimmyhunter wants war, he wants blood, he wants to deal damage to Babbo's base. Good blast on all those fire warriors, and the warriors are starting to pour in. Now, I know what Babbo's like, and Babbo's going to be going for a trade without a shadow of a doubt. Babbo knows Jimmyhunter doesn't have spells, and he knows that he does have spells. If I was Jimmyhunter, I'd be trying to withdraw to catch Babbo's shaman before she can make it into the base. But it might be too little, too late. Jimmy might just be resigning this to a bit of a last hurrah. Going to be doing what he can to valiantly damage Babbo as a preacher causes a nuisance. Fire warriors push in. They clear the way for the red shaman. Here she comes. She's got spells. She's got spells aplenty. Although she's in combat with a yellow brave. Could be a very Babbo thing to die to a brave by getting pushed into the water. Nice blast out of Babbo. Going to take out that preacher before he can become a problem. Hypnotize on additional preachers. Going to force them to reveal and tank the fire warriors in the huts. Like the idea from Jimmyhunter, but Babbo was one step ahead. There's the first earthquake. Double earthquake out of Babbo onto the troop huts combined with an erode. Look at that damage. Oh, the additional effect of the erode really making a mess there. Plenty of water in the middle of Jimmyhunter's base. One tornado, two tornadoes. We're going to see a third tornado as well out of Babbo. We know he's got it. Is he going to go cast it on the temple? I think he's going to cast it on the temple. Right, Babbo? Yeah, cast it on the temple. Hypnotize, coming down on additional fire warriors. Babbo patrolling fire warriors around his shaman to keep herself alive. Hypnotize onto the warriors as well. Jimmyhunter's base has taken a huge battering, but what is going on for Jimmyhunter in his attack? He's done a good amount of damage to Babbo as well. He's actually denied Babbo's temples. Babbo has no access to preachers anymore, so he has only the preachers that he has on the field, and if Jimmyhunter can continue to kill those preachers, the warriors will run rampant over his base. I don't know where Jimmyhunter's shaman is, though. I don't know if she died. We might have missed her dying. Or she's just floating around somewhere. There she is! Running around, having a grand old time. She's got lightning available to her, but very little else. Now, Babbo is in the middle of Jimmyhunter's base. With an Angel of Death. I didn't even see him cast this. When did he get that? Angel of Death from Babbo going to be eating away at Jimmy's population. Fortunately, his shaman's not there, so she doesn't have to worry about getting taken out by the AOD. But that is absolutely catastrophic for Jimmy right now. He can't afford to be bleeding out this population, although there are braves in combat with the shaman. The AOD takes too long to eat. She might have died, but Babo waited that out patiently and was rewarded for his efforts. A lot of red warriors here inside Jimmyhunter's warrior training hut as Jimmyhunter strikes back, dealing lots of damage across Babo's base. I think it's a bit of a token show, but it's admirable all the very same as Babo pulls his preachers out of a nice push from Jimmyhunter. Really well killed as Jimmy hunts down what remains of the preachers. Blast onto the remaining preacher and he does go down. Warrior training hut disabled. Jimmy's doing everything he can. Wildmen are actually starting to spawn back on the map even. But the populations are 81 to 34. Jimmy definitely launched a valiant counterattack. It was just a bit not enough. A bit not enough. That's good. I can speak good English, I can. It's a bit not enough, isn't it? Oh, just wasn't quite enough. But it's valiant. It's nice to see Babo actually taking some hits on his base. But this is what we were saying about the power of troops. All of this done in the same damage that Babo could do with his spells. The downside was that Babo just had a bigger base. He just built faster and had that little bit of early damage. Had Jimmy launched this attack on even pop to Babo, he might have actually done enough damage to actually kill Babo. But the discrepancies in their population has resulted in this sort of warrior trading fiasco. Jimmy did valiantly. He goes down to some Braves there, but it was a valiant counterattack. Plenty of damage across the red base. Good control of the warriors as they're spread out amongst all the huts. But when we take a look at yellow base, you can see it's largely the same story. Babo warriors all over it. There's no towers. There's no troops. There's an angel of death. I don't know where Jimmy's population is. There they are. They're building a warrior hut right next to Babo's front line. They want to fulfill their destiny as angry, screamy battlemen. And Jimmy has done well. He's killed 102 population to Babo's 130. So despite the huge population discrepancy, he's killed a lot, and that is something to be admired. That might be population lost. Hold on. Let's see if this number goes up. I don't know. I don't know if that's population lost, but either way, the value is close, showing that both players have done reasonably equal damage to one another. Which, you know, if you're Jimmy, you can feel a little bit good about that. He came in here, he said, you know, he's expecting Babo to win, but he wanted to do his best, and I feel like he certainly has. He can leave with his head held high because he's done a huge amount of damage to Babo here. Launching a pretty devastating counterattack and actually forcing Babo to come back to his base to defend. It's not going to be enough to keep him in the game, as much as I love to put a positive spin on things with 10 warriors and 1 brave. It's all over for Jimmyhunter. He can do what little damage he wants to Babo's base. Phenomenally well played from our 2 players, a valiant attempt. It looks like Jimmyhunter is going to be the first of Clan Asgard to fall. Or second of Clan Asgard to fall because Sky fell in a Clan Asgard team kill. Sorry, Sky, I didn't mean to forget you. We did ask how many players from Clan Asgard would be able to make it through to the semi-finals. There was a maximum of 3 possible, and we're now down to 2, as Babo is going to be claiming one of those semi-final spots for himself. He'll be going on to face the winner of Rallyma versus Mirage, which takes place tomorrow, I think. Meanwhile, Nisi waits in the semi-finals to face the winner of Mammoth versus Keith 52. It's going to be played first thing tomorrow morning. GG, says Jimmyhunter. GG, says Babo. Sportsmanship, there's the surrender. The game is over. Babo advances.